check. 1, 2, check, check, check. 1, 2. Check.
Sounds good.
Check. I'm just trying to get the volume right on the restream. Welcome in, wrestling fans. You're now dialed into the PA Power Hour, and Eric and Dysen are on the phone with us, and we got a really special show tonight because we're going to be announcing some big a big upcoming event that we're going to be hosting. But first, Eric, you got to watch a little bit of the briefs of the Flo and Willie Saylor litigation, and what were your thoughts on that?
This might be the most entertaining thing that I've seen in wrestling since COVID hit. I mean, this was this was must see live stream on YouTube. It was cracking me up, the stuff that we're seeing in here. That we've seen these tweets throughout the course of the summer, and whenever I saw the one of Willie's tweet where he said "wasn't me" and had the scissors cutting the cord to the flow stream, I'm like, really? You're bringing this into evidence? Do you really think that it was a joke? Yeah,
I mean, it's laughable. So like, it's laughable for a few things, and one was like, I realized that whoever the attorney was for Rockfin was saying, like, I don't mean to sound rude to Mr. Saylor, but we're talking about someone who covers high school wrestling, and she was like, he's not someone who's like a CNN analyst. Why are we spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on attorney fees just for this? And they're like, Willie makes $45,000 a year if he's lucky. He's not. I mean, you're attacking. You're kicking a man when he's down. It was very. I think it really exposed the things that are going behind the scenes at Flow, with Flow Legal at least. It was kind of embarrassing to see, because here's Willie, just like, of course Willie has said some things that are towing the line, so to speak, like the cut the cord thing. But it was just so childish. I mean, here I am just thinking, like, all the things that are going on in the world right now. Especially in my profession as a law enforcement officer, like looking at all these crazy things that are going on, and we're here wasting time on litigation about a moniker, the world's the greatest mind in wrestling. Like, we're arguing over a brain emoji and whether crystal ball rankings is a trademark of Flow. Like, who does that? I don't get it. Dysen, maybe since you're a kid, what were your thoughts? Because you're just a kid, so you don't really, the law doesn't really apply to you. What did you think of that?
I know it was kind of, like you said, it was kind of laughable of all the things, like the cutting the cord stuff. Just they're bringing up everything they can to go against them and stuff like that. But it was pretty funny to watch, but pretty crazy.
Well, and the best part about it was it happening over Zoom, or it's just hilarious. If it all happened in a courtroom, it probably wouldn't have been nearly as entertaining. But the court reporter got on and yelled at Willie for not talking, or for talking whenever he wasn't asking a question because he couldn't hear what was going on, and it was just like, it looked like a Saturday Night Live skit about Zoom meetings. Like, the judges' heads kept disappearing into the background. Like, it was hilarious.
It was a riot.
I watched my school's, the Punksy had a variety show this year. I was virtual, and they did like a faculty meeting, so like the teachers and stuff were all in there, and that's what I thought about when I was watching. It was just like just people yelling over each other, and it was
like, they had
2020 encapsulated in a video.
Yeah, I mean, essentially in like a court proceeding too, which was even better. But I mean, the things they were arguing were so absurd. I mean, they literally talked about a moniker, the greatest mind in wrestling, and like whether he used the emoji, and like I can't fathom it. And obviously
can they legally bar him from using an emoji?
I mean, I guess under non-compete, they can bar him from saying crystal ball rankings. Big board, that was the other one. Big board.
Big board. I get it. I see.
How I've seen big board on multiple different outlets being used outside of wrestling. Like in the world of business.
Yeah, Mel
things.
Kiper. Yeah, Mel Kiper is the one who started the big board.
The freaking guy who's the Easter Bunny. He only shows up one time of the year. That Mel Kiper guy. Never liked him.
Hey.
Did he have something against Pitt? Is that why you don't like him, Eric?
I didn't say anything against Mel Kiper.
Well, I mean,
You're the one that's got a problem with him.
I mean, you threw him in, like you were just trying to throw him under the bus.
No, he's the one that came up with Big Board. I mean, he's been
Well, then
using Big Board for
and
before Flow even was created.
Flow better sue Mel Kiper and ESPN
Good luck with
while they're
that.
at it.
Good luck with that.
It's really laughable. It's pretty incredible. Petty is the word I would use as well. And I'm not saying either side are perfect, and everything they've done was right, but this is just, it's gotten too far. But you're right, Eric. When thinking about the lack of wrestling action we've had, this was kind of like I think there are some people on social media that said that. Like this is better than a live event.
What was that Iowa? What did they call it? Like Shout Night or something like that, where they would have like all the Iowa coaches get together, and it kind of blew up a couple years ago. Do you remember that, Dyson? Did you see that?
No, I've never heard of it.
Wow.
Okay, it was big on Flow.
Iowa wrestling?
Well, it was like all the Iowa coaches got together, and it wasn't Ramos. Somebody got one of the Iowa, young assistants at the time said some stuff that everybody got ticked off about, and that kind of ended it, I think. But it kind of reminded me of that. Like it wasn't really a wrestling event, but it kind of, just turned into big news to everybody in the community because there's nothing going on right now. For now. Which is why we're here tonight, right? This is why we're here tonight to talk about how there will be actually real wrestling going on, and really good wrestling.
Yeah, I would argue some high level wrestling. Dysen, this is kind of like Dyson's baby. He's been talking about something like this for quite a while, and yeah, man, we're really excited about it. We've been teasing it for a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I know I've had a lot of people ask, like, what are you guys talking about? I don't get it. Like, just say it. But we needed to do some things, cross some T's and dot some I's. But we are excited to announce a new event because obviously the Surge, which I've heard the name Surge mentioned more times than COVID. Like, COVID cases are surging. And I'm like, of course, the year we're not going to be able to have the Surge is the year where the term surge is being used.
Yeah, I don't think we want to be associated with that kind of surge, though.
Probably not a good idea to be associated with a surge. COVID cases surge at the Surge. Probably not good PR for us.
No.
We've kind of decided as an organization that the Surge is unlikely and 99.9% not going to happen due to the fact that we do have such limited restrictions and capacity in place. Is it the safest thing to do? Probably not. Is it going to kill us to not have it this year? Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt because we really wanted to highlight this. And I'm thinking about Mason Gibson being the first, 5-time Surge champion because he won it as an 8th grader. But, maybe we can do it in the spring, something like that. But so I think because of that, Eric, we really wanted to have some type of event that we can put on for fans and for the wrestling community, specifically in Pennsylvania. So that's how we came up with this event that we are calling True Power. So True Power is a dual meet between Pennsylvania's best wrestlers. It's not necessarily the number 1 person versus the number 2 person, but it's a matchup of styles. It's a matchup of wrestlers that have competed at high levels before, that like to put up points on the board. And once we reveal the card in full, I think fans are just going to be absolutely stunned at the amount of talent that we have. But Dyson, I want to go to you first because, you and I started talking about this a while ago. And I just want to ask you, Dyson, what kind of drove you to talk about something like this?
Yeah, last October I went to Flow Wrestling's Who's Number One, and then so probably like a week or so after that, when I got back, I kind of brought up an idea like that about having a PA Who's Number One to you, and you were like, you guys talked about it before and stuff like that, and then so then came around with not much wrestling because of the COVID and all of that, and we get to Flo does their Dake Chamizo card or whatever, and so I bring something up to you again. I'm like, I didn't really think there was a kind of a chance of us having. I was just kind of just throwing out an idea, kind of hoping we could do something. But you're like, yeah, maybe we could try something, and then like a week later we brought it back up, and you're like, we're gonna do it, and then you brought a little a card initial card, and then we made some changes to that, and then here we are with a completed card.
Yeah, Eric, I think Dyson's gonna try to set us up to get sued, right?
That's what I was going to say. Legally, this has nothing to do with Flow Wrestling. We did not steal their idea in any way. Jeff, I'm joking about that, but honestly, Jeff, you've talked before, going back years about the old Challenge of the Champions,
Right.
and how much you like that event. That was an old double A versus triple A, and this isn't, it isn't that, but it's sort of in that same vein of two of the top guys in the state that maybe wouldn't see each other in the postseason, because we've got some national preps guys, we've got some double A, some triple A, so and some girls, some different things that we're going to see in this card that we may not see during a regular season or a postseason.
Yeah, and it's funny, Eric, because like you brought up the Challenge of Champions, and Mike Lester from PAWrestling.com, and I had talked about that like years ago because he wanted to compile the history of that. And Eric, I know that's an event you competed in. So
yeah, I was in the prelim match. I wasn't in the big.
Hey,
I wasn't in the big boy event, but I was in the prelim.
Listen, if you compete in the prelim at the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic, still pretty high honor. I would say you competing in the prelim, still pretty high honor, Eric. So don't sell yourself short, okay? That's an event that we had, and here's the thing: during a normal season, right, when you have Super 32, you have all the duels that go on, Tyrant duels, you have the Waterway duels, the Thousand Island duels, all these different events that are going on. A lot of kids are wrestling year round, but they're not necessarily doing that this year for obvious reasons. So when we are looking at this specific year, we were thinking, man, this is a prime time to really highlight this event that we wanted to do. And it's not something that was born after COVID. It was something, that idea and that seed was planted a long time before this. And Eric, I know even before the surge, we were talking about maybe host an event. And it's really hard to do after the season because so many kids, number one, the season's long, they're burnt out. There's a bunch of other all-star type events going on. But if you look at preseason, there's really not, especially locally, especially when we look at Pennsylvania, there's really not any type of all-star event. And Dysen did go to Flo's Who's Number One, which is a really good event. And they have some of the best guys in the nation. We are not doing that. We are focusing on Pennsylvania wrestlers, and most of them aren't state champions. Some of them are just returning state medalists. A lot of them are up and comers. We have a junior high match, and as you mentioned, Eric, we have 2 girls matches that we're really excited about. Again, things that are vastly different than something that the evil word is.
Just in case the Flow lawyers are watching,
Boy,
this is completely different.
Those lawyers had a long day today, but I bet they're like, what can we do to really add to this
Rockfin property?
Yeah, right. Which it will be live streamed on Rockfin, so which is pretty awesome because, well, just because. But yeah, so Dysen talked about how. So Dysen, you're almost 15 now, right?
I'll be 15 in November.
You'll be 15. That's right, because your birthday was at the Surge last year, and your voice.
Shout out to Lauren because those cupcakes were good.
That's my
Dysen,
wife.
You know when
can't forget about Heather too.
Yeah.
Dad, Dysen, when you're 16, Jeff's gonna get you a company car, right?
A company car.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
I wish I had a company car.
We should get a PA powered
mobile
wrap around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. My dream would to have like a Ford Raptor with a PA power wrap around it, and just have one of our large hammers just like attached to the top, so anytime we can come out and just boom, swing around and hit that. Edgar, if you're listening, we need a design for a wraparound for a Ford Raptor. So let's get on that. So we're super excited about True Power. We're gonna announce some of the matchups here tonight, and we're gonna kind of slowly introduce them. And this is, I mean, we're gonna have a big build up to this. The date of True Power is gonna be Saturday, October 17th. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any fans, right? Because we are in the state of Pennsylvania limited to 25 people inside capacity. We are going to have 17 matches, so it's very easy to remember. Eric, what's the date of True Power, Eric?
October 17th.
How many matches are we going to have, Eric?
17.
Phew.
Smart man.
Right there. So yeah,
But he-
Good
but-
education
hey,
for you.
kind of a
But he went to Pitt, so don't go any further because
Phew.
we start trying triple digits.
Eric, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't understand Dyson's problem with Pitt, that he jumps on your West Virginia coattails all the time. I don't get it.
you can,
I need to invest in a nice little West Virginia flag.
oh boy, I got at least 3 of them.
Hey,
I can throw
all
on.
I gotta say is I got the hookup from Pitt this week. They're taking care of me.
That they did, and you know what? I saw the Pitt Wrestling Club shirts, which wildly enough they were designed by Mark Steen, Gary Steen's dad, who's a complete. He's crazy, right? I love him. He's so wild, and he runs Bad Karma, and they have a really nice. I like their singlets that they have Bad Karma, but he designed them. I want one of those shirts, Eric. So if you could arrange for having I don't know if I could wear a Pitt like university shirt, but I'll wear a Pitt wrestling shirt for sure.
We'll slowly
I will do
bring
that
you
as well.
over. We'll slowly. I'm not even helping you out, Dyson.
No,
You've
no,
got
like,
he's at least got a reason for not liking Pitt.
Hey! I didn't say to get me a shirt. I just said I agree with Jeff.
Okay.
I will never wear anything that says Pitt University, Pitt football, Pitt
It's the
anything.
University
You
of
get-
Pittsburgh. It's not Pitt University. Come on.
I mean, same thing. But you see,
Jeff, I
but
will
you-
hook you up. I will get you one at the golf outing in a couple weeks.
All right,
you throw a
thank
Pitt
you.
wrestling shirt at me and I'll wear it.
Ah, okay. Well, maybe I can bribe Dyson a little bit then too.
Listen, and we've said this on the show many times. A free shirt's going to bribe most of us. Look at me. I'm wearing a Cathedral Prep shirt that was given to me. I was bribed to me, right? Shout out to Carter Staraki and Coach O'Shea. I love the Cathedral Prep.
How'd you get?
very
I
nice.
was all over Carter and Fargo. How'd you get a shirt out of it and I didn't? Man, come on.
Probably
Come
because he
on.
went to West Virginia.
Probably, yeah.
Mm.
All right, Dyson. I got to keep you in line sometimes too. So to go back to our original point, right? True Power happening on October 17th, live on Rockfin. We're gonna have 17 high-level matches, and as I mentioned, we're gonna release 3 of them here tonight, but we're gonna slowly start introducing them as the weeks go on. This is a big deal, right? We're gonna have some big matches between national prep champions, state champions. 5-time. How many times has Bo Bassett won PJWs? 6, 7,
Six.
times.
I believe, yeah.
Bo Bassett, probably one of the top-ranked junior high wrestlers in the nation. Maybe even another guy who's pretty good at wrestling around that age. From Forest Hills, older brothers, committed to Cornell. So you can read between the lines. We're gonna have so many good wrestlers. It's going to take more than just one show to really go over and go into depth of each match. But yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. Eric, what were your thoughts when we originally started talking about this? Because Dyson, being that he's like Gen Y or Gen Z, whatever he is, he doesn't take no for an answer. He's like, hey Jeff, let's do this dual meet. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm throwing up. I'm thinking typical, trying to be responsible, like, well, but I don't know about this. What about this? And he's just like, he has an answer for everything. He's like, nope, we can do it here. We can do that. Like, what if we do this? Like, he didn't take no for an answer. Eric, what were your thoughts initially when we had discussed this, especially in the COVID times?
I mean, I liked the idea. I was a little worried, but we talked about it a little bit, and we brought this up on other shows that, yeah, there's a 25-person limit for indoors, but we can find ways to work around that. All the wrestlers aren't going to be in the gym at the same time, maybe, some small obstacles to overcome. But the biggest thing is that the wrestlers themselves have jumped behind it wholeheartedly. I mean, we talked about it. We could have double this amount of a card if we really wanted to, for the number of guys that have contacted us, that heard about it and said, "Hey, I want to be a part of this. How do I get on board with it?" I mean, I think the kids themselves are really excited about it.
Yeah, and obviously, especially because these top guys have not been competing, right? They just there hasn't been competitions like Fargo, like Disney Duels, just all these lost tournaments that just aren't taking place. Um, kids really want to wrestle, so it was perfect timing for us to start this, because we're gonna get a lot of big name guys coming. We're gonna have a lot of interest in the event, so I think it's gonna grow from here. Even next year, when hopefully everything is back to normal. And all these events are still going. I still think we're going to have interest from guys and girls to wrestle in this type of event. And really, it's not about necessarily for us to get the best of the best guys on the card. That's nice, but we really want to highlight some, again, maybe some guys that haven't necessarily had the national level exposure, but they're looking for that. They're kind of on that cusp of breaking through. Maybe they were a state fourth place finisher and looking to get recruited. So, and like you said, Eric, we could have had probably, after things started moving and rolling through, we probably could have had a lot larger of a card. We probably could have had, like you said, a second card on this, which we're not ruling out continuing to do. We're going to see how True Power goes, see what the PIAA does, but we're not opposed to trying to get guys to compete, not just in the practice room, but in an atmosphere where you feel like you're competing in the finals of something pretty spectacular, right? It's going to be, our setup's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty cool for the wrestlers. Even though there's not going to be fans there, it's going to be pretty intense. I think we're going to see some really good wrestling. Overall, it's going to be a great time. Dysen, what do you think about some of the matchups, without giving away any of the ones that we are not going to release tonight? What are you excited about for the matchups?
I'm pretty excited. We got some, like you said, we got some national prep champs versus state champs. We got a couple girls matches, junior high matches. We got different different matches, and I really like it, and I think it's gonna be awesome. Like you said, we're gonna have a cool atmosphere for the wrestlers, and looking forward to it.
And Dysen, when we were talking about this, we were looking at, because high school weights are changing this year. If we have a season, the high school weights are going to change. We were talking about maybe doing like catch weights, and some of the weights are kind of, we kind of have some goofy weights in there, just because that's where guys are. Especially, I was really shocked to hear some of the guys and how big they were. So we had to kind of adjust based on kids' size, because we kind of had an idea of who we wanted to try to get to wrestle, but it's really hard to do that when you don't know that wrestler X put on 30 pounds and is no longer 130, they're now 160, or somebody else who is you'd expect to be much higher, and they're like, yeah, I'm still 120, right? So what do you think about the weights and kind of the matchups that we have with very contrasting weights compared to last year, Dysen?
Yeah, some, like you said, got some catch weights, some normal weights. We got a mix, and it just think kind of just went with what like you said, we had a kind of initial card that we went after the guys. We were like, we want to get this match, but then if that didn't work, we're like, okay, this guy's weighing this, but then this guy's still weighing this, so kind of just matched them up depending on what they weighed, and put up together some quality matchups.
And I think that's one of the exciting parts of it, Jeff, is that we have, we always look at that going into the surge, that we're like, man, we're not quite sure where some of these guys will be weight wise, but in a normal year, we've seen them at Disney Duels, and we've seen them in Virginia Beach, and we've seen them in Fargo. And so we kind of have an idea of where they are weight-wise. I mean, they might fluctuate a little bit going into the season, but we've seen them pretty regularly throughout the summer and know what they're like. And now some of these guys we haven't seen since February, and we're like, whoa, what happened to that kid? Like you said, he's put on 30 pounds. So, it's kind of interesting to see where some of these guys are that we hadn't been able to get a physical look at in months.
Yeah, that's a good point because we really do have all these events to kind of keep a track on their weights, so to speak. And I just think of Fargo, and when we have been out to Fargo, seeing guys cut and figuring out where they are and weight wise, and all of a sudden you just we don't know what you've been doing during quarantine. Vinny Kilcary's running around wrestling teddy bears. What how much weight is so and so gonna have put on? Are you working out? Are you not working out? Dyson's, his voice dropped like 9 octanes during COVID. So it's
octaves, not octanes.
Octaves. Sorry, I'm thinking of Sirius XM. I was listening. I actually was listening to Octane on Sirius XM.
You were banging your head.
Yeah, I was banging.
It was the ponytail, wasn't it? You were rocking out with the ponytail.
I don't have a ponytail, and in fact, I proved that. Because I listened to a bunch of lawyers today, so I'm going to prove unequivocally that I do not have a ponytail, Eric. Exhibit A.
Don't come on.
No ponytail, bro.
Let it grow, man.
What?
You should have let it grow.
A ponytail. I'm a police officer, Eric. I'm not someone who's working on a ranch. I'm not trying to be like a hipster or something. I mean, maybe Dyson, not me.
I can't grow the ponytail, so that's out.
I actually just got a fresh cut, so
you got
pretty.
How'd you look, Dyson? Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty good.
Okay.
Looking nice and fresh for the first day of school tomorrow.
First day of school. Good for you. Are you actually in school? Are you going into classrooms?
Yeah, we're in person.
Wow.
So you had a couple of days a week. How's it going?
We're full all day or every week. I mean,
5 days a week. Wow.
Yep.
I haven't seen too many of those.
They gave us the option. You could either do like all online, a hybrid like of a couple days on, a couple days in school, couple days out, or you could just do all in school.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of schools that allowed that option. Talking about just that, we'll go off track a little bit for that. What have you been seeing, Eric, with the PIAA now? Fall sports is a go. Governor Wolf hasn't said anything specifically about trying to shut down what was said by the PIAA, but we have seen some school districts, and I think the Pittsburgh Public Schools today is deciding whether they're going to have fall sports or not. That's entirely District 8, but definitely some schools out in Philly. The Catholic leagues out in Philly, I think, are not going to be competing in fall sports. Eric, was there anything that you've seen? I know that you kind of have your ear to the ground a little bit on that. Have you seen any schools or districts that are kind of on the fence about it?
No, in my area, I think everybody is pretty excited about the fact that they're able to have fall sports. I did see that conference-wise, like the Laurel Highlands Athletic Conference, which is a mostly District 6 conference, announced that they're not going to allow fans at sporting events. So we know that, and I think that's going to be a lot of places. But it's kind of strange. Certainly in my area, there are already talks about and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that my alma mater, they've already prepared, and this is no joke, there's a football field, or right behind the football field, there's a cornfield, and that they're cutting down the corn to make sure everybody can kind of pile in there to watch it outside of the stadium and bend the rules.
Only in
now that
Somerset.
Sounds like some diehard football fans right there.
That sounds like Somerset County, Eric. That's what that sounds
that is. When you cut down the corn to watch football, what else could it be?
Man, I bet
they'd do that in Iowa, wouldn't they, Dyson?
That's what I was just thinking. Sounds like some Iowa stuff right there.
Yeah, Dyson loves jumping on bandwagons. He's a Punxsutawney guy through and through, but jumps on WVU and Iowa and all this other stuff.
At least I can get the Iowa. He's got the Caleb Young connection. I can totally buy into that. I don't know why he's jumping on your coattails about WVU though.
I know why. I know why, Dyson. It's because it ticks you off. It's kind of funny because look, even your face right now, Eric.
Yeah, I think that is why.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how the season really plays out with football, especially because we've already seen, at least here in the Whitfield where I live, definitely saw some schools where they've had to stop football practice because of an outbreak. And I say outbreak, I mean one person gets it and they kind of shut everything down. But this really is this fall sports season is really going to be detrimental to how the winter sports season is going to happen or not happen, right? So if we see a complete and utter failure, it's probably not looking good for us in wrestling. However, if it goes kind of smoothly without much of an issue, I think we are in a much better position to have some type of season at some cost, right? At whatever level that is, whether that means no fans inside, but or only at regional events and then going to the state. I don't know. I just think it's very important how these next couple weeks and months go, Eric.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly there. This is kind of a trial balloon. Obviously, people in football don't see it that way, but for wrestling fans like us, we're looking at how the fall sports season goes and seeing how that's going to impact what can happen in the future with the wrestling season. And I agree with you completely there that if this goes badly, if things don't work out with fall sports, it's probably not going to go well for winter sports either. But if we get through it and we see, hey, this wasn't a problem, there wasn't a widespread number of cases going up from sporting events during the fall, then I think we could certainly continue down that path in the winter and have wrestling season be a realistic possibility for us.
Yeah, so getting back to True Power. So True Power going down October 17th, Saturday. We're actually going to have it at the Tyrone Armory, which is a really unique place. And Jody Stripmatter kind of got my attention to that because he had a little camp there. And it's actually a pretty, it used to be, it's the Joshua House, a community center, if you will. And before that, it was an armory for the U.S. military. It's very old, very historic looking, but they went in and they updated things. They refurbished some things, and they made it into a nice little community center there. And the new owners of the Tyrone Armory are going to continue that type of legacy with it. They're going to continue to give back to the community, and they're also going to be putting in a wrestling room specifically for wrestling in the armory itself. So a very unique place for us. At UPJ, we had the surge. It's not feasible. It's not possible to have an event there just due to COVID and the restrictions on outside events. But the Tyrone Armory just felt like a really good fit for us because there's really no places for fans. So that was good because we weren't going to have any fans. But it also gave us enough space, ample space, to have a really nice size event, right? Where we have a mat, we have a large mat, we have 2 mats on the side for warm up, we have areas for walkouts, we have all the things we need to have a nice upscale event, if you will. The Tyrone Army kind of gave us all those things. So I know I'm really excited about it. Eric, you are more familiar with the Tyrone the area, but I know AJ Shop's excited about it.
Are we going to get AJ there? That'd be nice, huh?
We're limited, Eric.
I'm guessing he's going to be at Purdue, but no, Tyrone is not too far from State College. It's right off the highway. It's a pretty good spot to have it in terms of accessibility for wrestlers from all over the state, where they're not driving all the way to one end of the state or the other. So it's sort of centrally located. I think that'll be good. Strong wrestling history there. Tyrone has produced some great wrestlers throughout the years. You mentioned one, AJ. Terry Tate was a state champion back in the day for Tyrone. Ronnie Garbinski, some great guys have come out of there. So good wrestling history. As you said, they were fantastic to work with. From what I understand, as far as you go, they've really been great to work with the folks there at the Tyrone Armory.
Yeah, I mean, stellar, really awesome, and I could definitely see us doing more things potentially there just because of how awesome that experience was. When we look at centrally located, as you said, we tried to make it centrally located because we do have wrestlers from all over the state coming in, eastern part of the state, western part of the state. So we wanted to try to make it as centrally located as possible, but again, we're kind of limited with locations and spots, and of course some venues just don't want to take the risk right now, right? So some areas just aren't able to have events. and I know we were talking about maybe potentially a high school, but this really works out a lot better for us just because of the type of event we're going to have. I think the kids are going to have a great experience. I think all the wrestlers are going to have a really fun time. I've been personally in contact with all of them, and really the goal is just to have some fun and get back on the mat. These kids cannot wait to compete, and I can't blame them. I can't wait to see wrestling and be in front of live wrestling because it's just been so long. Dysen, I know you kind of have been around wrestling a lot closer than I have in the last couple of months. What's the feeling like? I know you are close with a lot of the wrestlers who are going to be competing in True Power. What's the feeling like around True Power, and what are the wrestlers saying?
Yeah, like you said, go to the same practices, some of them, and they're all for it. They're ready to. They were asking me a bunch of questions. Getting wanted to know as much as they could because they're so excited for it and just excited to get back on the mat, like you said. So, yeah, I'm excited to see some wrestling.
So before we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the 3 matches that we are releasing tonight. And again, stay tuned for the rest of the matches in the next couple days and weeks. But first, we're going to go to a quick commercial break with Nick Fuller of the Tactical Mind. Be right back.
This is the Tactical Mind, and I work with athletes in the field of sports psychology as a cognitive performance coach. Within 5 minutes of talking to a parent, they make the connection right away that this would be great for my kid to have when they're in college, when they're just going through the ups and downs of high school. Who wouldn't benefit from having more self-awareness? Who wouldn't benefit from having the ability to self-regulate our emotions and our counterproductive thoughts? Who wouldn't benefit from having more optimism, not just on the field, but in life?
Yeah, and this is really that time, I think, when we talk about the mental edge and the mental aspect of it. I think this is really where it comes into play. And actually, Nick just texted me a little bit ago and said he's now offering a package deal where he's doing, if you use the promo code PA Power at sign up, you'll get initial consultation for half off. So if you go to their site, tacticalminds.com, and you'll see it there, enter the promo code PA Power, and you'll get half off your first initial consultation. So definitely check that out. When we are looking at the card itself for True Power, again, 17 matches, 2 girls matches. We're going to have a junior high match. That's the first match that we're going to talk about right now. So let's break that down, Dysen, because we got 2 just absolute studs. And it's going to be Bo Bassett from Forest Hills versus Nathan Desmond from Bethlehem Catholic. Dysen, tell us a little bit about these guys because you are our youth expert or junior high expert, right? Bo Bassett, huge upside. Name kind of sounds like just like he's going to be really good because of all the things we've heard about. And Eric, I know, has written a lot of articles on Bo Bassett. But Dysen, tell us a little bit about this matchup specifically.
Yeah, this one, we're going through a couple different scenarios for junior high match, and this is one we end up coming up with, and I really like it because these 2 have met in the past, and it's been close. Desmond has beat him a couple times. Bassett beat Desmond a couple times, and Bassett coming in at like a 6-time state champ. I believe Desmond a couple times state champ, and both coming in nationally ranked at both on the big board and at their weight class. So really excited for this one. Both bring different styles to this. Bassett definitely just a hard hand fighter, gonna grind the whole match and just gonna try to wear you out. And then Desmond, he's a great top rider, likes just getting legs in. So I'm excited to see these 2 go at it again.
What weight are they meeting at?
100 pounds.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So 100 pounds for Bassett versus Desmond. Desmond, this is a really nice clash of East versus kind of West, right? With Bassett being from the center of the state, center area of the state. Nathan Desmond trains Red Hawk Wrestling Club, Sia Sully's out there in the eastern part of Pennsylvania, and he'll be attending Bethlehem Catholic, I believe. He is still in junior high, but this is such a stellar matchup when we look at the youth because, like you said, Dysen, they have a history, right? These two, I think both, even the parents together will say, like, we love watching our sons compete against each other because they wrestle hard, but there's a lot of mutual respect between these two. Bassett is definitely a guy who on the national level is well known, right? Having won 6 PJW state championships, he's going out to Tulsa. He's been out to all the big tournaments, right? So he's a big deal. But Nathan Desmond is while he doesn't have 6 state championships, he's right there with Bassett. And I think while I'll give the slight edge to Bo, anything's possible after COVID, and Nathan Desmond is not a guy who I don't think he's going to drive out from Easton area or the Bethlehem Catholic area all the way out to Tyrone to not come out and compete and win. Would you agree, Dysen?
Yeah, I think Desmond's definitely going to bring it, and I'm excited to see these two go at it.
Eric, a little bit about this match. What are your thoughts initially on this 100-pound match in the junior high?
As you said, I know quite a lot about Bo. He's right in my backyard. I've written about him a lot. Was one of the finalists for the Sports Illustrated Kid of the Year last year. It's just won everything, done everything. So I know a lot more about him. But yeah, anybody who's beaten him, I want to see that matchup. I want to see, if he's going back and forth with Desmond, I want to see that matchup, because I've seen Bo in action and what he does to really good kids. So to see him on with somebody else on his level, I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be a fun matchup.
And Dysen, can you tell when was the last time that these two wrestled? Do you remember offhand?
It might not. The most recent time might have been the whole way back 2 years ago, States. So
okay.
Not this year, but I think the year before they might have met in the finals.
I was thinking maybe Super 32.
I
don't know if they wrestled at Super 32 or not. You're gonna have to do some.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
it's
been a while. It hasn't been. I mean, it's not been a long time, but it hasn't been like too recent.
Eric, for our junior high expert, he doesn't sound much like an expert. Do you agree, Eric? Huh?
Oh wow, man, he is.
Hey,
I'm
trying to help you out, Eric, because you're getting smashed, left and right from Dysen. I'm trying to help you out with Dysen, and
I don't feel the need to pick on a soon-to-be 15-year-old Jeff. I don't need that kind of ego boost. I'm cool with him bringing the knowledge that he has.
All right, cool. Well, I'm excited about this match because Bassett has, we've seen him compete this offseason. We had, his father on recently, Bill, about watching him compete out. And I think that Bose is a guy whose name's going to become cemented in Pennsylvania wrestling history, I think, one day. Maybe that's putting the cart before the horse, but I really do believe that he's going to do very well at the next level. So excited to see him, but also very excited to see Nathan Desmond and what he's going to bring to the table. Dysen, should we go in and talk about the second matchup that we are going to release tonight?
Let's do it.
So our second matchup that we are going to discuss is between two of our featured girls matches. And this is a pretty big one because we have two girls that are very well accomplished in really just a short time period, because we talk about the development of girls wrestling, especially in Pennsylvania. It's only been a couple years now since the PA, we had this independent PA girls state championship, which really has highlighted some of the top girls that are competing in Pennsylvania. So this is one of our first feature matches of the two girls matches. This is between Eva Bayless, who everyone should kind of know that name because Bayless is a name that is almost like Rappo is out in Council Rock. Bayless out in the West is very synonymous with very good wrestlers. Most recently you had Bo Bayless, but Eva Bayless is now at Wyoming Seminary. She was a national prep champion last year. She wrestles out of Wyoming Seminary. She was at Reynolds now at Wyoming St. Mary. She was actually the first girl we ever featured on our top incoming freshman report. So that was a pretty big deal for her. And this is going to be at 113 pounds. Now, her opponent, maybe not as well known as Eva Bayless, but certainly up for the challenge. And Eric, I got pronunciation down for this one, okay? Because it's not
Hit me with it.
it's
Hit
not
me with
it's
it.
not pronounced the way it looks, okay? And you always bust on me on how terrible I am at pronouncing names, okay?
All right, I want to hear it.
Okay, this is Andy Subishon.
All right,
I think that's
I'll buy it. I mean, it
You
doesn't
said it was
look
like
anything like that.
You said it was like submission, but it's
You gave me the
Subishon.
phonetic spelling of it. Yeah,
I did.
That's what
I did.
it is.
Andy is no joke. She was a state champion last year at the My House Girls State Championship, high school state championship, and she wrestles for Bad Karma. As I mentioned, Mark Steen, who runs that, he kind of said to me, "Hey, I know both these girls. I know what they're both capable of. This is going to be a good match. Make it happen." So, I'm really excited for this match. I'm really excited for this match just because you kind of have the established Bayless, and then you have somebody who's really trying to set herself apart from the rest of the field and compete at that high level. Eric, what do you think?
Well, I like how you set that up, that this is really an opportunity for, as you said, we kind of know the Bayless name, and there's no truth of the rumor, is it, that the rest of the 14 matches on the card are just Baylesses versus Rappos? That's not true, is it?
There's no truth to that, Eric. There's no truth to that.
Just wanted to be sure. But no, seriously, Eva Bayless is somebody we've known about for years. We've heard a lot about her. So this is a chance. Give me the pronunciation again. Submission?
Submission, yeah.
Submission. Okay.
Submission.
So Andy.
Andy.
Andy has a chance really to make a name for herself and make sure we all know how to pronounce that. If she can go out there and beat an Eva Bayless, that's really going to cement her spot and give her that recognition to be able to win a match like that. So I think that's a great opportunity for her and for girls wrestling as a whole, to have a chance on a card like this and to get some of the exposure, because we know there are going to be a lot of eyeballs turning in whenever everyone sees this full card, that there are going to be a lot of people that want to watch this card. And I think it's a great opportunity for women's wrestling in general.
Eric, you covered Ava when she was out in Fargo and really destroyed the competition, but she's only gotten better now that she is in that Wyoming Seminary girls program, which has just been phenomenal. But look at the names that are there, right? You have Adeline Gray, you have Erin Tomei, you have a lot of high level wrestling, girl wrestling, women's wrestling there. So obviously anyone who's in that room is probably going to excel their game. So that was a couple years ago. I can't imagine how good she really is now, but I'm really excited about this match. I think it's gonna bring some fireworks here, and this will be competed in freestyle. So all our other matches are going to be competed in folk style. Our two girls matches are going to be competed in freestyle, which I think really is beneficial for them because that's the style that they're used to competing in, and I think that makes sense. Dysen, what were your first initial thoughts when you saw the matchup?
Yeah, like you guys said, Bayless is definitely a name that everyone knows of in Pennsylvania, and I've known of Ava of a long time because she actually used to she was in the same weight class a couple times at States as a Punksy kid, so we always he'd always wrestle her and stuff like that. But Andy, maybe not as much as known as Ava is right now, but like Eric said, a chance to prove herself in this match and being on a card like this. So I'm excited to see this match.
Yeah, I mean, and Andy is a state champion. She won a state title last year, and I think is only out to get better and really from Jump Street. There was no question. Her father's really said, like, we want this match. We want this challenge. We want a chance to wrestle Ava. So I'm excited because I think both girls, kind of being from the northwestern part of Pennsylvania, being from Fort LaBeouf, Andy is. So I think this is really a cool, neat experience for these girls to compete and wrestle in. So those are our first 2 matches. Our third match, very, very interesting, right? Because which I love the photos for these 2. AJ Corrado looks like, and I told this to his mom. I said he looks like he should be in like some '80s rock punk band. But we have a big one here. This is AJ Corrado from Burl versus Eric Gibson from Forest Hills. Eric, what do you think about this matchup? Because I look at this and I'm thinking, man, 2 guys that just kind of let it fly. AJ was a state runner-up last year, lost in the state finals by a point. Eric Gibson, in the semifinals, very close to making it to the finals, but just couldn't get it done. He's a guy who's a 2-time Surge champion, very highly recruited. He's committed verbally to Cornell, only going into his junior year. This, I think, is going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. This is 160 pounds, which I think is a great weight for these 2, because I don't think Eric's got to cut much weight. I don't think either one has to cut a ton of weight, but I think they're going to let it fly.
Well, and this is one that I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that they've met before, because they've kind of been different. AJ's a little older. Eric's been a little heavier, I think. So I'm not sure if they've met at all in the past. But I think this should be a pretty intriguing matchup in that regard. And as you said, they're both guys that'll just go out there and try to put up points. And this, I don't see this being a 2-1 match. I think we're gonna see some action in this one, and they're gonna let it fly.
Yeah, and Dysen, when you look at this match, what jumps off the page at you?
Like you guys said, both of them just guys known to go out and let it fly. And both of them, Eric obviously definitely more nationally known, but Corrado, if this win would definitely prove himself with the win over Gibson, prove himself nationally with the win over him, and just I think it's a great match. Looking forward to it. And
Eric, I'm surprised you didn't know this, because they have wrestled. They wrestled 2 years ago when Eric was a freshman. I forget exactly what weight it was, but they wrestled at the.
That wasn't in the postseason, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in the Southwest Regional semifinals, I believe.
Okay, so that would have been at 38.
Yeah, it had to have been.
I thought AJ was lighter than that back then.
No, Ian Oswalt was, but
okay,
yeah,
all right. My bad.
So that was a year that Gibson lost to Ely in the finals.
Right, he lost to Ely in the finals, so they must have met in the semis.
In the semis at 138, that's what it was.
Okay,
yeah,
right. No, I just didn't remember that match.
Yes,
I remember Ely beat Gibson in the final, but I didn't remember Corrado being in that weight as well.
So Gibson won.
Wow, that was a tough weight.
Yeah, very tough weight. Gibson won 12 or 15-5 at the Southwest Regional, and then 12-2 in the Conci semifinals. That was the year Eric was a freshman. He took third. So these 2 definitely have a history, and on paper, it looks lopsided, right? It looks like Gibson, he got 2 majors, put up, over 10 points in both those matches. I don't see that being the case here, though. I just now, and it's kind of deceiving because Eric can put up points in bunches, right? Eric can score points very, very quickly, but I think AJ is a much more mature wrestler than he was when he was at 138, his sophomore or junior year. So I believe that he's much more prepared for this match. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I don't think it's going to be I don't think there's going to be a major decision here. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be a little tight, Eric.
I think the key, obviously, with Eric, from what I've seen, is you've got to be able to weather that early storm, because he's going to come out in that first 2-3 minutes and just attack. And if you can weather that storm and kind of stick around, and I'm not, I hope that it's not a situation where it's, kind of being defensive for AJ, but if you can weather that storm and sneak in a counter here and there off of a shot, something like that. I think that's your best opportunity, and then try to win it in the third period with Eric, because I've seen so many guys that just can't match that pace over the opening couple of minutes, and the few guys who have been able to beat him, and that's what they've been able to do, is to match him early on and then win it later on. So I think that's kind of the thing that I've seen so far, that if you're going to have success against them, that you have to be able to survive that first couple minutes without giving up too many points.
Yeah, and we talked about that last year at the state tournament. If you can stop the first 2.5, 3 minutes of Eric's just relentless pace, that you obviously have a better chance of coming out on top. But AJ, he was in the state finals. He's a 3-time state medalist, 7th, 5th, and 2nd, right? So he's got 3 medals to his name. Last year he lost to Caleb Dowling, who's now at West Virginia. He lost to him 3-2. I think he lost 2-1 in the Southwest Regional Finals as well. But look at that weight class. You had Ryan Wyant from Forest Hills, Malachi Duval from Penns Valley. You also had Caleb Dowling and AJ, all in the Southwest region. So that was a pretty big, that was a pretty deep weight class, and I think we talked about that last year. So, I think last year, they were obviously at 2 different weights, but I think the gap closed a little bit, because I think AJ is just, I think he's really improved, especially in winning those tight matches. I can remember watching him wrestle Ben Halbert from Palisades in the state tournament early rounds, and I thought, this is going to be a tight match. He was able to control that match and really win all positions to win a tight match 3-2. So he's been able to keep it close. I don't think he gave up a major at all last year. I know he got pinned by Connor Redinger, because Connor had to come up and tell me at the Powerade tournament. I
believe you might have had that ranking slightly differently at the time.
I certainly did, and Connor would not. He definitely let me know that. So
fix your rankings, Upson.
Yeah, I think those are exact words. But AJ, he I don't think he gave up an entire major decision last year. And he was majored twice by Gibson. So I look at this like a nice redemption match for AJ, and a fun match. I think both these guys are going to put up points. I'm really excited for this, Dysen.
Yeah, I am as well. I think this is going to be a high-scoring match and fun to watch.
So we're up on our 3-minute warning now, or 2-minute warning. We're at our 2-minute warning here. We are
final period.
We're in our final period, final stretch. Short time, Eric. It's not short time just yet, but
this is not the short time podcast. We don't need to confuse it with anything else.
Oh boy, no, we don't. It's not short time. We got plenty of time to stall.
I don't know if they have lawyers or not, but we don't need them on our back too.
Yeah, Dysen's already getting sued by Flo, because he mentioned who's number one. He mentioned Dake Chamizo. He mentioned, what else did he mention? Something about Flo. Like, I think Flo has I don't think we're allowed to speak their name, like, legally. So
I think
is that like Voldemort? Is it you just can't say the name?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I was the one who said before that we should just say the F.
The F word. The F word. Yeah, we said the F word.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And not like the bad F word, but just kind of like,
not the 4-letter
F word.
The
3-letter F word. Yeah. So, we're super pumped. We're super pumped about True Power. Those are just 3. That's just the base layer, man. We got so many other matches coming up here that are just going to have you like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see that one. And we're really excited. We didn't want to overwhelm you. So this is like your early present on Christmas Eve, right?
Appetizer.
Yeah, an appetizer. Good call, Dysen. This is like your mozzarella sticks, right? These are your mozzarella sticks. We're gonna have a main course coming up next week where we are going to lay out some huge matches that are going to be in True Power. As soon as those kids get their pictures to me, I know it's so hard for kids just to snap up. You see selfies everywhere, Dysen, you kids. How hard is it to throw on a singlet and get it?
How old are you, Jeff?
Well, according to you and Rob, I'm like 45. I mean, I can't catch a break.
45? Are you aging faster than we know? I thought you were 40 on your last birthday. So.
Well, I mean, it's not my real age, number one, but it's 7 years older than what
he's 40.
Okay, I'm not 40. I don't look. If I'm 40, I look great for my age. I'm really excited for that main course next week when we go over all the hammer matchups that coming. you got a little taste, but this is going to be some very, very entertaining, wild matches where I can't wait to showcase these to the wrestling community. Just definitely not the 3-letter F word. We're not gonna talk about them, Eric.
Okay.
I will refrain from using that word. Sorry, Mr. Upson.
Okay. Well, please for future reference. All right.
Yes, sir.
See that? If everyone could be that respectful, Eric, we'd have a good.
Yeah, you don't see what he says about you behind your back.
That's true. That is it. That is our hour. Our power hour is over. Next week, we are be coming back to the Power Hour to talk more about these matches, find some more information on True Power. Again, Saturday, October 17th, 17 Hammer matchups live on Rockfin. We will see you next week. Dysen, thank you for joining us. Best of luck to you as you start school. You start tomorrow, Dysen, is that right?
Yep.
Who starts school on a Thursday? Can I
They do that all the places now.
do that? Really? It's weird.
It's-
Yeah, my brother's school did the same thing, I think.
All right. Well, happy first day on your Thursday. Eric, anything final words to say to Dysen? You want to apologize to him or anything?
What do I need to apologize to him? I wasn't the one that was mean to him. You were.
Okay. Dysen, I apologize if I
was
if I
nice
was
to
mean to you.
Dysen.
Why did I give him a yes, sir, when he was that mean to me earlier?
I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. I've been nice to you. All you do is, rag on piss to
Listen,
me. So
we're going to get sued by Flo. I'm going to get sued by child labor here. Bring it on. Bring it on.
We might not have a show next week.
We may not have a show next week. True Power may be canceled because I may be in jail. I don't know.
It may be the prison hour.
Yeah, it could be the prison hour. All right,
PA
everybody.
Prison hour.
Thank you very much, Dysen and Eric, and we will talk to you next week. Stay tuned to PA
Peace.
Power Wrestling.